From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon and welcome to your MTN Noon News. It is Monday. Good to be with you. I'm Don Hudson. Let's get right to our top story. Billings police arrest an arson suspect accused of starting a duplex on fire. Now that blaze happened on Saturday, sending 3 people to the hospital. Billings police say 27-year-old Reese Gray is facing charges of arson, 2 counts of criminal endangerment, and aggravated animal cruelty. The fire started around 6:40 Saturday night on the 2700 block of 4th Avenue South. Now, in addition to the 3 people who were sent to the hospital, a family cat was also found dead inside the home. Police say witnesses saw someone running from the apartment. Officers found Gray several blocks away and arrested him. Now, a woman says that she is thankful to be alive after being alerted by a Good Samaritan about the fire. Our Isabel Sparks returned to the scene yesterday and brings us a story.
This is where that duplex fire happened Saturday night. And for one woman who lives just next door, she's grateful for the kindness of a stranger. It started as a normal evening for Rose Lakel.
I turned on my fan and was getting ready to take a nap.
When then suddenly she heard a loud knock at the door.
Somebody was rapping on my door, and I didn't know who it was, so I wasn't going to answer.
But those pounds didn't stop, only growing louder and more urgent.
I was still reluctant, but I opened the door, and all I could see was a big, thick, black, gray wall of smoke. And I heard him screaming, "Your house is on fire, get out."
Unknowing to her, a fire had broken out in the adjacent apartment to her south side duplex around 6:30 p.m.
People driving up the street and parking, getting out of the car and banging on the door next door for people to come out.
For Rose, she didn't know who was at her door, only that she had to get out, and quick.
He wasn't dressed like a firefighter, so I was trying to figure out who he was. Just a random stranger who's seen smoke, and he's like a linebacker trying to take down my door.
Rose escaped and was transferred to a local hospital for smoke inhalation.
My stuff is only stuff. I got out with my life because of that man, because I would have fallen asleep and not known.
That man's name is Joe Adams, who told MTN over the phone that he had just happened to be driving by when he saw the fire. Though he didn't wish to be interviewed, he says he couldn't help but act.
I was able to meet him and thank him, and his words to me were, "I'm not a weirdo, I promise." He goes, "I just wanted to help you get out," and he did.
Witnesses saw a man running from the unit right before the flames spread and believe he may have started the blaze. Billings police have not confirmed a cause, but one man was booked into the Yellowstone County Detention Facility on an arson charge.
I'm not angry at the young man next door that started the fire. He made a bad decision, and I hope he heals from this.
No matter the cause, Rose will never forget Joe's selfless act.
I'm very grateful for him. He's a hero.
In Billings, Isabel Sparks, MTN News.
A growing wildfire has sparked concerns out in western Montana. The Banana Lake fire, burning 4 miles north of Plains, has already scorched 1,000 acres, with crews working to protect structures earlier this morning. Now, an incident management team expected to join all those crews later today. There are currently no evacuations or road closures, but the DNRC does ask everyone to please avoid that area as firefighters continue to work. The Banana Lake fire is currently the largest of around 8 active fires across the state. Well, a weekend of fire danger made way for a wet start to the week for most of us anyway. So let's now check in with meteorologist Miller Robson for what we can all expect.
Well, we're in the back end of this trough, this cold front that's cooled the temperatures down for some today. We're going to warm up as we move forward, but there is still a lot of moisture out there. And you can see, so take a live look at the Doppler where we are tapping into it, especially on the eastern side of the state, closer to that trough that is pulling away. We're even seeing some mountain snow. We're in this unsettled weather pattern. We'll show you this coming up, that each and every day, a lot of the region will still have a chance to see daily showers and thunderstorms as these little waves will be coming through. Temperatures out and about right now, cooler than they have been in the 40s and 50s, but we will be warming up some areas into the 80s by the weekend. We'll take a look with the main forecast straight ahead.
Time now for today's leading look as we take a run through some of the other stories making headlines across the state. Now, the body of a 68-year-old Montana man missing since Wednesday has been found in the Lochsa River area in Idaho. The Idaho County Sheriff's Office reports that Robert Jeffrey Howe's body was located Saturday afternoon. Howe was reported missing back on May 28th near the Wilderness Gateway campground. A drone actually located his body in the river about 2 miles from that campground. Several agencies assisted in the search, including 2 Bear Air. All right, 2 more people were charged with deliberate homicide and the stabbing death of a man in Billings South Side in an alleyway out there. Brian Deo Contreras and Cheyenne Joe Whitewolf are now identified as 2 of the 3 people accused of plotting to rob and kill 51-year-old Keith Breckenridge, then dispose of his body and destroy the evidence. Violet Littlelight is already charged with deliberate homicide in the case. 19-year-old Whitewolf entered a not guilty plea in court. We'll update you on Contreras' appearance after he's in court. A group of young Montanans are suing the Trump administration over its climate and energy policies. MTN senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian spoke with one of the plaintiffs recently about why they're taking this step after recently winning a similar case against the state of Montana.
In the summer of 2023, the Lewis and Clark County Courthouse played host to a week-long trial after 16 young plaintiffs filed suit, arguing the state of Montana wasn't protecting their right to a clean and healthful environment. Now 10 of those plaintiffs are leading a new group of 22 who are making similar arguments against President Donald Trump's executive orders seeking to boost fossil fuel production.
All of us care about our collective futures. All of us are uncertain about where the future is going and just how bad it could be. And I think that we have a lot of hope and want to use our voices to try and make change.
Eva Lighthizer, a 19-year-old from Livingston, is the lead plaintiff whose name will be on the case.
What worries me is the fact that we're at a time where we need to be taking action against climate change, and that is not happening. Instead, it's going in the reverse.
The plaintiffs filed their case in federal court in Butte. They're suing Trump along with around a dozen federal agencies on their heads, seeking to block 3 executive orders. One reversing regulations the administration says burden the development of energy resources, particularly oil, natural gas, and coal. One declaring an energy emergency and speeding up production and delivery of those resources, and one encouraging more production and use of coal. The administration says the policies are needed to maintain the country's energy supply and bring down high costs. The plaintiffs argue they've suffered harms from things like hotter summers and wildfires, that climate change has worsened those problems, and that Trump's orders are ignoring the possible impacts of more greenhouse gas emissions.
We're arguing that the executive orders, by unleashing fossil fuels, blocking renewables, censoring climate science, are violating the plaintiffs' fundamental rights to life and liberty, which includes the right to health and security. And unfortunately, at this point in time, I think we have a strong body of evidence to support those claims.
15 of the 22 plaintiffs, including the 10 from the held case, are from Montana. The rest of them are from Oregon, California, Florida, and Hawaii. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
A new fitness center now open within Park County Senior Center, designed with the intent to keep seniors moving and active as well as helping them with their health. MTN's Heaven Vaughn got a first look at this new community resource.
Staying active as a senior can be challenging, but the Park County Senior Center is making it easy with the opening of their very own fitness center.
Aging, everyone's in various stages of decline. Everyone's got different things going on, whether it's they can't walk anymore or they have heart issues. Same aging is what it is.
Barbara Lewis is a resident of the Park County Senior Center. Having been in the community for over 20 years, she says she's excited for the center's updates.
So I remember when this was first a thrift shop and then pretty much just became a junk room for anything that seniors didn't want or equipment like wheelchairs and stuff. It was really an ugly basement.
Combining his expertise in both fitness and carpentry, Executive Director Garrett Fulmer-Faust spent the last year and a half remodeling the basement, even bringing in a bit of history from the greater Montana community.
Garrick, as a woodworker, has done all of this woodwork himself. All of this distressed, beautiful bluish tint came from the upper observation deck of the old Faithful Inn.
Faust says access to ways of staying active is incredibly important for maintaining mobility and quality of life for seniors.
It can be quite daunting to, to not get up and move and to just, to stay immobile. But unfortunately, that immobility can cause even more problems.
But now the senior center's basement is a fully functional fitness room just for seniors.
And a lot of seniors maybe not have ever gone to a health club before. And if they did, it's not quite conducive to their age group and what they're trying to do. So it gives them a place of their own that they can come and socialize, safe place to be, not feel intimidated,
Faust says the entire project was done without using any of the senior center's budget, thanks to generous community donations and grants. And residents say they couldn't be more grateful.
To repurpose this space, which not only enhances the value of the entire building and the Park County Senior Center Corporation, but it's going to be wonderful for the community.
Visit our website for more information on how to get involved. In Livingston, Heaven Van, MTN News.